Greetings from the Erie Coast. This is Mad Chad. And this is another episode of Sunday Reflections, and the creek still flows. So this is a pre-recorded live stream. I will be monitoring the chats though. But yeah, journey with me as we explore civil virtue. Shout out to Carrie Trainer for this inspiration. Currently on a little walkabout. Yeah, I'm taking the railroad as my infill. Totally against civil virtue. What is civil virtue? Our founding fathers talked about it. It was very important. It's very, very important for a civil society to have virtue. You know, we talk about virtues, morals, ethics, that kind of shit, right? And a lot of times we think, you know, if shit happens, I'm just gonna, you know, it's like a blank check to do what you want, right? No. Oh, hell no. Quite the contrary. Although a lot of people are going to do that. But always remember there's consequences to your actions. But civil virtue is very important for a society to exist, to be peaceful, to be helpful, to be productive. Civil virtue is people doing the right thing. And that not necessarily means the laws of your government. Even though, yeah, there's that. You know, no robbing, stealing, killing, raping, murdering kind of shit, you know. A lot of our laws were based on Greek, Roman, Judeo-Christian values. Societies that had a virtuous people, for the most part, they're always going to have that criminality. They're always going to have folks that don't have any virtue. They were outcasts. They're outlaws. But a society that does the right thing, that helps people, right? Helps little old ladies cross the street, stops and helps people when their car is broken down. Someone that doesn't go around as well, which Carrie Turner was talking about, was, you know, don't get into a altercation with someone and think, well, you know what, I've got this pew, I got this weapon, I can just shoot him, or I can just, like, you know, hey, whatever, and step it off, like take a deep breath and move on, right? Letting a lot of shit slide, being the better man, being the gentleman, only using self-defense when it's absolutely necessary. The danger of your life or someone else's life. That's a civil virtue. Sometimes it's often necessary to just leave shit alone. But you don't understand. I've been disrespected. Well, so what? Carry on. Live to run away, to live to fight another day sometimes. I know. Sometimes you just gotta let shit slide. Sometimes violence is not the answer. Civil virtues, right? Gentlemen, good day, sir. Good day to you, sir. I said good day. Go about my business. Get in a heated argument. Next thing you know, it comes to blows. Next thing you know, weapons are involved, or something happens, and somebody gets seriously hurt, injured, or dies. Wow, that would suck for anyone involved. But civil virtues, traffic, standing in line, not being rude, not creating a scene, it's what holds the respecting others to a certain extent. It's what holds that society together. It is the fabric of society. Civil virtues. There's a lot of countries and parts of this country, they don't have a civil virtue, or it's very low. Use China for instance. If you fall down, hurt yourself, get in an altercation with somebody, chances are you're just gonna lay there. You're gonna lay there until somebody makes a phone call, or some police or whatever walks by and goes, "Oh no!" Nobody's going to help you. They're just going to step over you. There's literally there's so many videos of that where people have fallen down, whatever, and they're just like, "Well, none of my business. Gotta go." Right? I don't want to get involved. No, thank you. What the fuck, man? And once again, those civil virtues that led to that point. Whoa, my first snake. Wow. What's up, buddy? I don't know what kind of snake it is. Not at this point. We're gonna bypass him. Wow. That's my first snake. Sorry, buddy. I'm gonna leave you alone, alright? Yep. See you later. Make sure there's not any more snakes up here. Oh, he's gone. We're out. Oh, no shit. My first snake. My first snake sighting in this area. I'll go back and check it out, see what kind it is. Best to leave sleeping snakes where they lie. I don't know. But in China, there's a lot of frauds going on, a lot of scammers. That they will literally fall down in front of you, wait for you to help them, and then demand compensation. You owe me money, you hurt me. Which leads a lot of people to go, huh, all right, fine, I help no one. Because you never know. You never know. Unless it's your immediate family or friends, they ain't helping anybody. Here in this country, many other countries, civil virtue is high. I've experienced great hospitality when I've went to countries that had that. Literally, they would just invite me into their home, have a meal, discussion. You know, here's some money for the trip home, whatever. A virtue, right? Most of those countries, they rarely have homeless people. unless those homeless people are just, that's their choice. Japan, you don't see any homeless people. Okinawa, same thing. I've never been to Japan, but I do know the society. I've been to Okinawa. Oh. There's no trash on the ground. Everybody's quiet. There's no yelling, cussing, screaming. There's no arguments. There's no people talking loud on their phones. Something happens, everybody stops what they're doing and helps out. Yeah. And they've been practicing that for thousands of years. Even in the midst of their, feudal wars and the Yakuza years where everybody was getting robbed and marauders and band together and help each other. Hospitality was a big thing. Knock on any door in the middle of the night. Help, please. I've been walking for, all day and all night. I need lodging. Come on in. Okay, fine. Hey, I hurt myself. Okay, come on in. Have a seat. Take your shoes off. All right. Take your sandals off. Wash your feet. Civil virtue. The Norse, Vikings, they had the same similarity. They had the same thing. You could walk up to most houses, most farms, and there'd be a sitting area by the door or in front of the door, maybe away from the door, a bench, cup of water, maybe a container with some bread in it. And that was for the weary traveler, the one that would come a-calling. And you'd sit out there. Usually what they do is you would sit out there and you would wait for the inhabitants of the home to decide if you're real or not. You think about superstitions, right? They would decide if you're real or not, decide if you're, you can imagine like looking out the window going, oh, there's somebody sitting on the bench. They're drinking water, they're eating the bread. Okay. Will they come to the door and what will we do? Will we open the door? I don't like the look of them. Wife, what do you think? All right. I think I fixed the issue. Where was I? Yeah, so talking about Vikings, yeah. Viking life, Norse life. Yeah, I had to fix a bunch of shit. Apparently I'm running out of room to record. That sucks. So, like I said before, you're sitting out there on the bench in front of the house, the farm, whatever, and you look out the window and there's somebody sitting there. I'm like, oh, weary traveler. Maybe they stopped to rest. Are they drinking the water? Are they eating the bread? The food we left out? Okay. Will they come a-calling? Will they come to the door and knock? And then the husband, they get to decide if you're real or not. And they also get to decide to open the door or not. So husband looks at wife and goes, hey, do we have enough food to accommodate? Do we have enough food? Do we have enough mead to accommodate hospitality? She'd be like, yeah, maybe a little bit. Like, do we have enough fire? Do we have a place for him to sleep? Can he, is he looking for rest? Do we have, clean bedding? That kind of thing. Do you not like the look of him? I don't know. maybe you start to just try to decide who he is, and if you want to let him into your house or not. But maybe you're busy, right? And you got your busy sign up, you know. So, but hospitality was a thing. And oftentimes, it's the only way you got news. You know, what news from the north? What news from the south? Ah, where do you come from, weary traveler? Yeah, tell us news. Give us the update. Maybe they're willing to offer payment, or services. Like, hey, I notice you got a huge stack of lumber out there. Huge stack of lumber that needs to be chopped and put up. I can do that for my dinner. All right, weary traveler, great. Yeah. Hospitality, that civil virtue was there. And they had a saying: you never know who's at the door. You never know of he who knocks at the door. And it's kind of a, could be Odin. Could be Odin coming to test you. You know, some civil virtues. We protect our children. We protect our women and children. Right? That's been ingrained in us. That's a nature thing. Even other species of animals do that. The mother will fight fiercely against all odds to defend her young. Just the way it is. I shared a post, a quick post of a crocodile that made the mistake of grabbing a baby hippo in the water. The whole hippo tribe showed up and tossed that fucking thing all over the place. Probably killed it. It's like 50 of them, mom included. Hippo survived. Baby hippo survived. But everybody got involved. Talk about civil virtue. We have been divided so much. Our civil virtue has been eroded so much. Yet it still exists, right? The rule of law exists because of civil virtue. If there's no civil virtue, there's no rule of law. There's no country. It quickly destroys itself. Want some pins? Somebody loves some pins. It's not the other way around. Yeah, people. There's consequences to your actions that do involve law enforcement. Civil virtue. I'm gonna take my poop and just put it on the side here. Of course, I'm at fault too because I didn't pick it up and put it in my backpack. Maybe I will. No place to throw it away, huh? Walking these trails, these metro parks. We want to preserve this beauty. We want to preserve this area. There's nobody living on this land, destroying it. There's nobody, yeah, you see some trash here and there. There's folks that come through and pick up trash. We pay them. It's my civil virtue at work. I don't want to do it. I'm busy. So the ONR will do it with my tax dollars. You know, that's cool. I see people passing. My civil virtue is I don't film them. Which there's somebody coming right now. I don't see vehicles. I don't see. How you doing?
I think it is.
My civil virtue is I greet whoever I pass. Howdy. Hello. For women, I'm not creeping them out. I'm walking on the right side of the trail because they're walking on their right side of the trail, facing the other way. All right. Bikes that go by, if there's bikes allowed on the trail. Some trails not allowed bikes. Sometimes you get that. Sometimes you see kids. So whatever. But they'll give a little jingle jingle. Or they'll say on your left, coming through. Oh, okay. Thanks. Some don't. Some just haul ass right by you. Zoom. And if I would just take a step to the left 1 inch, bam, I'm getting seriously hurt, and they are too. So some people are stupid, right? Idiocracy is idiocracy. But when there's less civil virtue, there's a lot more idiocracy. Hi.
Hello.
How you doing? Oh, I wonder if I can get to that place. Over there. Been over there before. It's like a kayak landing area. I wonder if I can get to it from here. I don't know if I can or not. There's a large creek in the way. I don't know. Cool. House on the hill. The civil virtue exists because we are virtuous. The society is virtuous. We have values, we have morals, we have expectations for everyone else to follow. It's just common practice, right? Common knowledge, common practice. You don't walk around naked in public. Drunk and disorderly is usually frowned upon. Unless in certain areas, right? You do a concert, you go to an event where there's alcohol being served. Well, you know, hey, let's get a little rowdy. Cool, yeah. That's expected. That's you know, that's okay. You see this all over the world, and different cultures have different social virtues. Here we've been so politicized and so morally jaded that becoming extremely acceptable of non-social virtuous behavior. Hello. And it's by design. Because think about how you were raised by your mom and your dad, your family, friends. the city, town you grew up in. They all had this unspoken rules, if you will. You don't do this, you don't do that. You do this, you do that. You help people. You protect yourself. You protect others. You know, it's just you're a gentleman. You're kind. You're courteous. You don't take advantage of people. You know, all kinds of things, right? You're known by your reputation. You're always trying to build your own, protect and build your reputation as a good one, a good reputation. And it requires following those civil virtues passed down from your family, instilled in you in church, in school. How many mothers and fathers feel that civil virtues that they were taught are being passed down to their kids in school? Probably not a lot. So when you attack a people's civil virtue, and you start to warp that virtue by allowing certain activities that are just downright unnatural. And by no means am I biased. Maybe I am, but you if you want to live a certain lifestyle, live that lifestyle. That's fine. But understand that there's a civil virtue that is required of you, regardless of what lifestyle you choose. It's your right to do so. You know what I'm talking about. Whatever that lifestyle is. I think I want a cigarette and a drink. What do you think? Or maybe I should go to another spot. There's a spot, really cool spot down the way. I'll get it out anyway. So yeah, today I have my little EDC. Thank you, Mike Hudson Valley. This backpack is holding up fairly well. It's got some damage, wear and tear, but hey, works out pretty good. Let's go. That's good. Little electrolytes keep me going, and to keep the muscles from cramping, I guess. It's very challenging to do all this one-handed, but it can be done. Hi. Be courteous and kind. All the people that you encounter. That's very important. Very important, I think. And to protect those and yourself, and especially protect those who cannot. we have a we have a punctuality virtue. A lot of us that work, a lot of people that do work, understand this. Keep your man of your word, woman of your word. Your job requires you to be there by 7 a.m. You're there by 7 a.m. Right? If you want to continue to have that job. That's a virtue. You expect your delivery drivers and your buses and your cabs to be on time. If you're ordering anything, you expect it to become, to arrive in a timely manner. Maybe some say, hey, we're going to give it some time, 2 to 3 business days, roughly. But you still kind of expect it. Civil virtues. We expect our women, young girls, and women and otherwise, to be able to roam freely without being absconded, and to maintain their peace of mind and safety, right? And virtuousness. Yeah, I don't look good. Oh, there's a little brown there. You. Going that way. You. Into the creek. We expect our businesses, corporations, and things like that to not poison the land, not dump a lot of chemicals in the water and bury their waste or toxic waste in the ground. Used to have a virtue of an ideology to a business where I don't want 10-year-old slaves from another country making my shoes. Can we not? I don't want to support a tyrannical regime that exploits its people just for the mere fact of making me cheap goods, cheap disposable goods. I want to buy something that has some quality into it, some love, some dedication. I'm supporting a cause that's just. Your local communities. I'd rather go to a local store that's virtuous, has some civil virtue. Goods and services with virtue. Well, no, we don't do that. Temu's very popular. Amazon's very popular. Walmart's very popular. Our food supply, our goods and services supplies, our goods supplies, most things and raw materials come to us from a very questionable, virtuous place. I would hope that all the tariffs would instill that back into the United States, made in America, that kind of thing. I would hope. And maybe it is. But not to the extent that I thought it would be. It's getting harder and harder to really stay true to your virtues as far as like a consumer. Hi. It's damn near impossible. Unless, of course, you make it yourself. Ah, that's interesting. Fix it yourself. Wow, we really have to pay more for it, huh? About these civil virtues, and those who upheld them. Now, I'm not saying you have a morale police. That's, you do what you want. All right? Do what you want. But, you know, your family and friends, you know, oftentimes have the same virtues as you, and the same understanding of civic virtues. I don't know. I have a tendency to forget these things, I guess. Take them for granted, really. Tell you the truth. Hi. You know, believe what you want to believe, follow what you want to follow, practice what you want to practice, but understand that there's a civic virtue involved in this country. It's what creates a civil society. And you know what? Some rebelliousness is tolerated, right? You got people that go against the norm, go against the grain, right? Those eccentric types, I've been that, still am, I guess. Eccentric. I remember this trail. Might go down this trail, just so I can relieve myself. See if I can find any snakes. You know, the punk movement, the fringe movements, the alternative movements, the alternative lifestyle movements. Yeah. Okay, great. But don't be don't be so disturbing that you disrupt the civil virtue of the people too much. And I've been that guy. Wow, he dressed funny. It's still kind of you don't have to be like cookie cutter, shirt and tie all the time. But you do have to be in your manners, your civil virtues, right? That's very important. You want to be part of a biker group, you want to be part of a punk rock group, whatever. You want to be in that transgender group, whatever. That's another discussion all in itself, I guess. But offending people's sensibilities, being unnatural, you're going to get some pushback. You're going to get society kind of, point fingers at you. It's going to happen. Somebody's going to disapprove of that. And somebody is definitely going to disapprove of their children being exposed to that. You betcha. And be expected to help out. What the hell? It's a train. Glad I got off the train tracks. It's very wet out here. Oh shit. What's going on here? Maybe we can catch a glimpse of this train up here. I don't know. It's like somebody made a structure. Yeah. Or they're going to create a fire? I don't know. Yeah, it's gone. It's a short train, so it's probably like cleaning the tracks off or something. I don't know. Anyway, point is, here in this country, United States of America, and most countries, society is built on a foundation of virtues. To be able to coexist with each other. Even if we have differences, even if we have sociological, ideological, religious, sexual preference, political affiliation, we have a way to get along with each other. And that's to adhere to those virtues. Our founding fathers understood this and wrote this into the fabric of our Constitution. And it's meant to create a long-standing constitutional republic. To encourage people, to uplift people, to help people out, to help yourself out, and to defend this great republic. and the society. That's why we're armed. And it's to stop tyranny. Domestic or abroad. Governmental or societal. We have the freedom of speech. Two greatest ones, right? Two best ones. I get to say what I want to say. My opinion will be heard. Somebody else has the right to question my opinion using their First Amendment. I have the right to assemble. I have the right to religion. I have a right to record, document things. I have a right to influence people. And that's where it gets used against us. If you have great freedom, like our country does, a lot of things, a lot of insidious things are tolerated. There's always a workaround for it. You know, when certain groups get together and condemn this country and its everything to make false claims of you know, whatever, fascism and whatever, communism. You know, it's fun. It's kind of funny. Like they accuse us the exact same things that they do. Kind of weird. We don't understand it, right? But we allow it. And what's the saying? I don't agree with what you said. Well, fight for your right to say it. Just because somebody has the right to say it doesn't mean they should. Doesn't mean it's right, just. But the fact that they can say it and have a discourse about it, that's one of the greatest civil virtues that we have. I have the right to defend it. Nobody has the right to tell me to shut the fuck up. Now, you know, saying things like fire in a crowded theater, you know, shit like that, and inciting a riot, that kind of thing. But whatever. They have the right to say it. We all have the right to say things. Whatever's on our mind. Redress our grievances. That kind of thing. I think it's going to be my turnaround point. Yep. Be my turnaround point right here. Gone as far as I like to go. Get on this side. Right. Engage in some civil virtue. So we see the divide because civil virtue has been eroded and encouraged for others to make their own civil virtues. That's revolution. When a group of people inside another large group of people decide that they're going to go against the civil virtues of that people. They create a schism, a divide, a virus that spreads and infects, a parasite. And it starts to recruit disenfranchised, ignorant, useful idiots for their cause. And preaches that defying the civil virtues of a country, of a people, is logical and necessary to shock and humiliate and to destabilize and to bring about change. It changes on its own. We evolve, or we digress, or we de-evolve. But once the erosion starts of civil virtues and it's allowed to progress and grow bigger and stronger, more organized, it will be the end of a nation. It will be the end of a people. Now, there's a lot wrong with societies, and even if you're not part of a society and you choose to back away, live by yourself, live on your own accord, you still can be affected by that erosion and the civil virtues that exist in the land. They might come for you. Your once secluded location in the woods. Now you get surrounded by an HOA. Like, damn, how'd this happen? Go away. Where'd he go? Boom. Nice. Big hawk. Hawk and a vulture together. Wow. Being mindful of others, being respectful, goes a long way in a society. If a society is mostly, of a Christian orientation, and you introduce, say, a opposite, something a just opposed, a just opposition, it starts to erode it, especially if they voice their opinion against the standing civil virtue. It's lasted for a long time. You start to change the people and become more combative. We had a civil war, just one, about the treatment of others, the way that we profit from treatment of others, subjugations. Hi.
But, I mean, why not go back there?
Why go against the flow? Being able to coexist regardless of your race, color, creed, religion, and now sexual preference. That was a big deal anyway. Wasn't really, no one really cared. Just don't involve my children, right? But now they're involving the children. And that goes against civil virtues. Very unnatural. So how do we fight that? How do we fight that parasite, that insidious parasite that continues to grow, gets stronger? And strengthen our civil virtues. It starts in your foundation of your family, your kids, right? Teach them well. Your schools. Don't allow your schools to indoctrinate your children into the insidious lifestyle that ultimately leads to our societal collapse. To not support things that go against our civil virtues. Bankrupt them. Vote with your money. That's why I like the Setio Plebis, the walk away. Okay, is that what you promote? Well, guess what? I'm gonna boycott you. They do the same thing to us. By your leave, ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
All these friends are here
So yeah, something something we all, I don't know, we take it for granted, and that's what has been allowed to insidiously infect our society. And like I said, do what you want. Be who you think you want to be, you know, whatever. But definitely take social virtue into your mind. And if you don't like where you live, you're not accepted because of your lifestyle, go somewhere else. It's a great thing about America. We're so huge. Go somewhere else. We just don't engage in that kind of activity out in public. So I definitely don't want to see a drunken, bearded, you know, you know, man in a dress, cracked out on meth and whatever, literally taking a dump on the sidewalk as I'm driving by with my kids to take them to soccer practice, football, or I'm walking by. I figured we'd go to the ice cream shop. And here's this freaking homeless man in a dress shooting up, putting a needle right in his arm right there, and yelling at me and my kids, saying obscene things. I don't see that. I don't want my kids to see that. I don't have kids, not that I know of. I'm just using an example. And nobody's doing anything about it. You know, if the authorities, right? I say that with some whatever. If they're not taking care of the problem, they failed you. And it's time for that society to take care of it themselves. But we have the great preoccupation. Don't get involved. Not my problem. I have more to lose getting involved than I do have to gain from it. Think about it. You've lived there. You chose that place to raise a family, to live and to work, to be a part of that community. You're just going to allow this to destroy your community? It's not going to be your community anymore. It's going to be his. Drugged out, freaking debauchery. You know, literally debauchery and death and violence on your streets. Because social virtues have failed. And one of those virtues is defending your way of life in your society, in your community. And failing to do so, you violate those virtues to protect and defend, to actively dissent and defy such activities. Right. So you're doing nothing about it. It means you're complicit. And is there a fine line, right, to being a dissenting, social, virtuous American and being a communist Karen? I don't know. I don't know. See what happens to a society when you inject a lot of drugs, a lot of promiscuity, a lot of media, entertainment industry. The entertainment industry is news too. People are addicted to the news. You get addicted to the lies. You're addicted to the suggestions. You see the corruption and the debauchery, and you either get disturbed by it or indoctrinated by it. The young are easily indoctrinated by it. They don't know what to think. Their minds have not really developed, and we all know this. I know this for a fact, being a stupid 20-year-old well into my 30s. But I learned. I learned there was this unwritten rule. I shouldn't do certain things. That there be repercussions. Right? You know, there's a lot of cultures that believe in karma. Right? Shout out to IMA, the song Carmageddon. This is Carmageddon. Dun, 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 dun. Right. Whether you believe this is the reckoning, the apocalypse, the Ragnarok, the Kali Yuga, do we really have to set aside our civic virtues and go ahead and usher in the chaos? I mean, yeah, when the balloon goes up, shit hits the fan. There's not going to be a lot of WROL, right? So less consequences. The purge. Yeah, if it's the purge, everybody just do what you want day. Rob, steal, and kill day. Okay. Burn, loot, murder. Whatever. All right? Blim and burn, loot, murder. That's what it really means, right? I'm still going to have some virtue about me. It's ingrained in me. I will do things that a lot of people will do things that to protect themselves and their family, right? And it might be questionable. Definitely in today's standards, right? But it's kind of done out of necessity. Ending someone's life, right? Taking something that's not yours by force, if necessary. It's not really virtuous. I really don't like that thought. I've worked hard to not live my life that way, not to exploit others, not to steal. But you know, they say it's only 9 days away, right? Or 9 meals away from anarchy, or social unrest. I don't like saying anarchy because I kind of like that word. Yeah, when I was younger, anarchy meant, to me, anarchy meant, absolute chaos, and absolute social unrest. But the true definition of anarchy is no government. I like that. Coal, I think. Yeah. Coal.
It wasn't for my brother.
I have the freedom to think and say, kind of do what I want, as long as it doesn't go against civil virtues. I want to preserve that in my country, in my people, regardless of what I believe in, or what I feel like that day. But that's just something I've been reflecting on. I don't know. I was inspired, like I said, by Carrie Trainer. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you shouldn't. Doesn't mean you should. Right? Mark of a gentleman is not what he does, it's what he doesn't do. That's the same way with society and how civil virtues work. And that comes from a strong moral background and practice. How you doing? Husky on a walkabout. So yeah, I've really made a long ass video. It seems like 2 hours long, 3 hours long. It's gonna be a long ass Sunday Reflections. So yeah, what do you think? Do you think that civil virtues are very important, especially now, since we're losing them? Or do you think, it doesn't matter. Do what you want, Day. Everyone has the right to do what they want, say what they want. Okay. Without fear of consequence. There's always consequences to your actions and your words. And your lifestyle. You remember those books that we used to read? I don't know, where you would read this book of you're walking and come to a crossroads. Turn to page 31 if you took the left. Turn to page 32 if you took the right. And then it's just a completely different story. Remember those books? Gameplay. You play a game and you make the wrong decision. Yeah. A lot of people out today. You go down the wrong path. Like, shouldn't have went this way. Shouldn't have made that choice. Life is that. You make right choices, you make bad choices. Good choices, bad choices. They either help you or hinder you or end you. Right? Or they hurt others. That's the other thing too, you know. I don't like to gossip. I don't like to engage in gossip. If you're doing it from an intel gathering standpoint, sure, whatever. Take it with a grain of salt, right? It's an intel point. It's a data point. Okay, file that away. But I'm not gonna tell everybody about it and create, some type of rife or strife, hate, discontent for that person or others. Yeah. Influence others for what I say, just because I don't, someone, a friend of a friend of a friend knew my sister, cousin, uncle's dog that witnessed the whole thing. Comes from a credible source, Leave half of what you see, nothing of what you hear. I entertain the notions. I like possibilities. I'm a chess player, right? So if I go left, he goes right. If I don't go left, he goes right, or he goes left. If I make this move, he makes that move. And then just game it up 13 moves, 20 moves. And then the infinite possibilities that come from that. It's good to have a foundation, a roadmap for a society. And the society gets to dictate that. Not the government, not the individual, but the individual plays the part. Because we are all part of society. Do what you want. But keep in mind civil virtue. Because you definitely can't do that shit in a lot of other countries. They have different civil virtues. So enjoy the freedoms you have. Just don't take it for granted and destroy it. Just because you feel pretty one day or furry one day, or or you want to go out and commit heinous acts. Like I said, one of our civil virtues is to defend ourselves and others. It's part of it. To call it out, to point it out, to eradicate it, to stop the threat, so to speak. Those who wish to do bodily harm and end someone's life maliciously, even accidentally, right? And safety is paramount. And it's everybody is needed to do this, to step aside. We're seeing the erosion of this firsthand in our own country. Mostly, we're seeing the effects of it in Britain and Ireland, and, Australia, Europe, the Western world, being inundated by another group of people whose civil virtues are all about destruction, overcoming. The destruction of the other society. Creek still flows. Their civil virtues are to take over our civil virtues, to destroy our civil virtues. It's in their ethos. They teach their children this. It's like, what the fuck? And to mass produce and replace the population with their own population, with their own civil virtues. Really? And yet everybody's like, oh well, let it happen. So, I remember this spot. And yeah, okay. I do see one. There used to be a few here. I don't know, check the archives. There's one mullen. Just one that I see that's growing. There were several others, and they're gone. I think they missed that one. Yeah. It appears that they're ripping up mullen for some reason. I don't know. Why? So yeah, folks, there you go. It's been my reflection, my Sunday reflection, and I thank you for the journey along with me on this road, on this trail. I appreciate it. All the help and support that I've gotten over the years, people I've met, interacted with. Thank you very much. I'll never forget you all. To the Ohio family, oh my God, amazing to be part of a family like that. And everybody in chat, all my everyone that's just been hanging out in chat, and chat's where it's at. You guys are awesome. Y'all come up with great great topics of discussion and extremely knowledgeable and virtuous to your own right, I guess. Even though I promote free speech to the point of uncouthness. Yeah, I do appreciate it. Yeah. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna wind down here. It's a long ass walk. Long ass walk and long reflection. Thank you for coming along on this journey with me.
I still have the distance on this.
I hope you're all doing well. Yeah, something to think about. Civil virtue. In whatever state government we're in, or whatever, even if it's shift, the balloon goes up, any of that. I think that civil virtue in society will hold us together, and if it ever erodes, it's bad. It's very bad. And we're watching the erosion of it in real time. History in the making. So thank you all for hanging out with me. And have a good, hope you had a great weekend. And have a good night. Have a good week. Tomorrow's Monday. I hope that you only have one Monday this week. So thank you all very much. Have a good night. Skull.